Now let's speak to our reporter Mbali Thethani. She's been following President Ramaphosa on his visit to Welkom in the Free State. Mbali, good afternoon. Just talk to us about the reception that the President has received and certainly some of the issues that have been talked about.
Well, Hugo, of course, President Cyril Ramaphosa has made his way here to Welkom today. Of course, he is on the Letsema campaign. And where we are right now is where the President actually began his visit. He began his visit here, visiting the community of Bronville, and that's in Welkom, where he actually received a very warm reception from some residents. But where I am right now is a community up in arms, and they're quite angry, saying that, well, as much as the President went on to visit, parts of Bronville, he actually didn't come to the specific area which is facing challenges of sewage. I'm just going to step out of shot and just show you this home of Ace, and of course it's Ace van Wyk, his name is. He says that they've been battling sewage for months on end now, and of course this is something that they have been alerting to officials in this municipality, and they are basically saying that as well fallen on deaf ears. I'm going to bring him in now. Ace, we have come here today. You stopped us in the road and you wanted to tell us about the challenges that you as a community face, and you're also very angry that President Cyril Ramaphosa didn't come here to come and speak to you as members of this community.
Dis waar, want hier gaan waar hulle vir hom skoon gemaak het. Kyk, hulle gaan krab af vir hom vir die dag van vandag. Hy weet nie eens, daar's Bronville. Ons is inwoners van Bronville. Hy was nie eens in Bronville nie. Hy het daar gedraai, daar waar dit skoon gemaak is. So ons is in die gemors hier so. Jy het gesien buite ook hoe lê die toties. Deur die dag is net vliee in die huise.
So basically what he's saying there, Hugo, is that, well, they're quite angry that as much as Ramaphosa came to Bronville, he also came to other parts of Bronville where they are saying are quite clean as compared to this part of Bronville. And of course, they are saying that they live within the mess of, sewage and, ablution facilities which are not right. I'm going to ask you, Ace, if you could just quickly show us, earlier on, he was just telling us about the sewage problems in this home, and I'm just going to quickly ask my colleague, Katlego, just to show you that they've actually been showing us that, as much as they've been living with sewage, it keeps on coming up, and of course this is something that is not being addressed by, of course, officials here in this community. And of course, I must say that even when you look around, there is sewage spilled on all over the road. You can also see it there in many parts of, just when you drive around this area. I mean, it's really unhygienic conditions that many people in this community continue to live in. I'm going to ask my colleague Katlego just to show you the amount of sewer spillage that we've managed to see, Hugo, when we've come to this community. And of course, as you can see there, another issue of being waste that, when it comes to service delivery challenges, this community is faced with. As you can see here, there is piles and piles of, waste belonging to this community. But at the same time, sewage is just spilling out of people's homes and is also littered on the streets here. Really unhygienic, circumstances that these people are living under. And they are saying that they are really tired there, Hugo, of living under these circumstances. And basically saying that, and as much as they continue to show and try to speak to officials, this is something that does not get addressed and rather gets fallen on deaf ears. I'm also going to come into another home here, Hugo, also in Bronville. And they've also then just showed us that, some of the children here have even got now ill and sick from, the stench that comes out of their homes, because this is something that as ordinary citizens they cannot contain. I'm also going to see if whether there are some people here who are able to speak to us, Hugo. Earlier on they did try to speak to us, but of course we will then try and bring in another gentleman. Are you comfortable speaking to us, sir? Just tell us about the situation. We understand that it has been now for months that you have been living under these conditions.
The problem is the service delivery is very slow. The trucks are now there. The trucks is today here, but the whole month there's nothing. We open our own rings. So every house keeping this side is full of this.
And how has the smell been? I mean, it's quite a stench.
How can you eat in this situation? You have to close the windows. The doors can't stand open. You cook. You have closed doors. We can't do nothing about it.
What's the municipality saying to you?
They promise. Every time after voting, they do nothing.
The president himself is here today on an ANC campaign, and you are saying that, well, he didn't come to this side of Bronville, and you're quite angry.
Nothing, ma'am. Nothing. Our councillor is even not from Bronville. He's not doing nothing. He's not doing nothing for us.
And your name?
My name is Johannes Isaacs.
All right, thank you very much, Johannes. As you can see, they're still quite aggrieved by the situation and that a number of people here are faced with Hugo. And of course, I can tell you just the stench and the smell that comes out from the sewage system here is really quite concerning and you know, quite heartbreaking that, you know, communities here and the residents living in Bronville say to us that, you know, this is the kind of conditions that they continue to live in. And of course, saying that President Cyril Ramaphosa saying that earlier on that they are aware of the challenges facing this community, and you know, these are some of the issues that they will be trying to tackle as government, as the governing ANC, of course, Hugo, and also saying that when it comes to, you know, repairing of sewage pipes and sewage systems, they are saying that you know, the officials here even applauding you know, the mayor, of course, Thethani Khalipa, saying that, well, he is doing a good job. He is cleaning up what seems to be the rot in which he found when he was in office. At the same time, just going to ask Katlego just to show you there some of, you know, the service delivery challenges facing this community, being sewage. And of course, there you can see a sewage truck has come here today. They are saying it's the first time they claim, this community claims, that it's the first time that they see this truck coming here to come and address the sewage problems and the sewage pipes in this area. And they are saying that, well, we know that they're only here because, you know, the president has made his way to this community. But, of course, saying that, you know, this is something that they've wanted addressed for a very long time now. And, of course, only seeing this today. Of course, there you can see that these are officials who are here to fix some of the sewers, the sewage system here, and of course the drainage system in this area. I mean, I'm going to also ask my colleague Katlego just to show you another home. You know, it's an area that has RDP houses, but at the same time also has, you know, a few informal settlements, you know, around the area. One informal settlement here, they've had to move, Hugo, because of the serious sewage problem that this area faces. As you can see, there were people living in this house, but we understand from the community that they've had to vacate because, you know, the sewage just kept on piling up, and it just became unbearable and really just unhygienic conditions that most of the people living here have been subjected to.
Mbali, certainly some deplorable conditions that we are witnessing there. What would have been the impact of President Cyril Ramaphosa making a presence or an appearance, if you will, in these very areas where the sewerage problems are an issue, as opposed to the proclamation that they are attending to it in another area where there probably aren't the same number of problems?
Well, of course, the president has been brought here, you know, by the provincial government. He's also been brought here by the mayor, and also been brought here basically by the ANC leadership. And, you know, basically, you know, you would know that the Letsema campaign of the ANC is a campaign that was announced earlier this year during the ANC's January 8th statement, and basically saying that because you would have seen just before the local government elections, you would see that there were always service delivery protests that had sparked many communities in South Africa, and of course, where many communities complained, saying that the ANC only cares about the problems of communities when it's time to vote. You just heard there from another gentleman, which we spoke to a bit earlier on, saying that, well, we only, our grievances are only heard when it's time to head into campaign. So they were trying to correct, Hugo, that issue, and also assuring their voters that we are indeed, looking into, these problems around sewage problems in this area. I'm also going to bring in another man here, a gentleman here, also living in this area. Sir, you've been living here for a number of years, and you told us about the problems in this area.
36 years. I'm living here. That's about 36 years. I'm Mbali award now, and you see those things. It's not right. We have children. We grow up. I can't eat in a Sunday.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry, sir. Of course, that is another community resident here, Billy, saying that, there are children. This place has a lot of children, and children shouldn't be living under such conditions. But of course, you would know that, Hugo, just looking at what we saw earlier on with the president, he's still on his Letsema campaign. We understand he's going back to Welkom Central at the community hall. Of course, that's where he will continue to engage with other community members around the problems that face the Machabeng municipality.
Mbali, Thethani, thank you so much for that update.